Howdy-yo, everyone! Velocity here, back in action for more St. Bartholomew's Hospital attraction. That's right, we're here to check in on people checking in. And basically just kind of going down the roll call of the investigation, because we're investigating everything that we need to do for the Great Ace Attorney. Come join me, won't you? 22nd of February. What do you suppose is happening? It sounds like some sort of disturbance. Yes, I hear angry voices. Be not angry, O ample lady. Verily, thou art mistaken. Mistaken my foot? You were looking at my painting. The eyes of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. 'Twas foul indeed, the poison that mustache fellow villain gave me. Forgive it me, lady. I wish that you died from that poison. God of mercy, ample lady, but thou seest I have a vigor still. Behold, my sham spirit dance! This looks rather ominous, doesn't it? Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer from the land which riseth the sun. How now? What are you doing here, Mr. Shamspear? Mary, I do believe I am returned unto another ward. He was looking, that's what he was doing, looking at my terrible work. Eastern fellow, so dark clad. Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee. Oh, well, thank you. But that doesn't mean things will go so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it? No, exude. Mr. Shamspear might technically be the victim in this case. There's definitely a lot more to it than that. Very hard to pin the man down. But you know who isn't hard to pin down? Me. Hey, ladies. I'm so sorry. I'm such an awful person. Miss Green, is everything alright? Oh, yes, I mean, don't worry about me. They're about to discharge me, so I must get ready to leave now. Oh, I see. We're delighted that you'll soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green. Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it. Oh, is that so? Oh, deserving? Well, let's examine it. Mousy. Like we examine everything around here for the most part. Nope. Doesn't seem like there's anything new here to examine. What about over here? Can't look at that, can't look at this. We did all that. Got nothing to particular notice. I was hoping we have something, but we got nothing. Alright, let's just talk to her then. How are you doing? I didn't want to examine, I don't know why I did that. We can't converse either. Okay. Well, what if we just examine her real quick? So, are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green? I am. Thank you. I mean, people do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me. Well, yes. Really was an ordeal, wasn't it? As far as I am concerned, I was just walking along in the snow one evening, minding my own business. And then, completely out of blue, I was struck in the back by a knife and collapsed unconscious for days. Of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, the whole business had been cleared up already. What a terrible week it's been for you. Oh no, I'm sure I'm very lucky, really. I'll look back on this fondly. Really? Anyway, I must be getting my things together now, so I'm ready to be discharged. Oh, yes, of course. Try to take your time, when you're obviously busy. Yeah? Okay. I guess we'll move it along. We're just kind of going down. As you can see, we've just been going down. The 22nd February, Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ground floor. Oh, hello again, Inspector Grayson. What are you doing here? Well, we were hoping to have another look around, actually. The lawyer representing the defendant has the right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware. Yeah, I know the school. Oh, yes, one other thing. Soap on the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? With the tea inside? Yeah, we found it all right. There was a small amount of tea in it, as you said. I knew it! With the identification section up the yard now. We're looking into it. Results should be available later today. That's wonderful news. Thank you. Pretty impressive performance in court this morning. Sorry? Nothing. Okay. Just make sure you don't disturb anything in it. Oh. Well, Sholmes is there, of course. Shlomesing it up. With his Shlomesy party. Sun never shines in this room, thanks to that depressing bricked-up window. Yet, with enough determination, you'd always remove the bricks to set some soap outside, can't you? Sounds like a very, wise life lesson, Mrs. Sato. Well, if you plan to follow a life of crime, Mr. Naruto. Fair enough. You ran out of change, you wouldn't even have any light, let alone heat. For the needy, London's winters can be very harsh. That's true. If you think about it, even the wealthy would find themselves freezing if they ran out of small change. London's winters can be very harsh for the forgetful, too. Then, frankly, I'm starting to wonder if Mrs. Sato and I are going to make it to spring. That's true. We don't even have a meter at Parker Street, let alone a gas stove. Look how dark the stain on the floor is underneath the meter there. Yes, from all the water dripping out after the ice coins melted, as you established in court this morning. Very large and obviously stained, isn't it? Mr. Shamsir must have used an awful lot of ice coins, I suppose. It wasn't a genius idea, I'll give him that. I didn't want to touch that, but what? Is there anything else we can look at? Like the Eaton soap? So it turns out that Mr. Shamspear wasn't eating the soap at all. That's right. The mystery of why he had it on a plate whilst holding a fork in his hand is solved. Yes, to pristine his latest ice coin out of its mold. And in the process, he accidentally broke the bar of soap in two. I think it was hard to imagine, let alone deduce. Ah, the ill-fated teacups from which the two men drank on the ill-fated night. During the heated literary debate, yes. Who's stronger, Romeo or Juliet? Sounds like it was quite a discussion. Now I think of it, I'm sure the two lovers in the play ended their lives with poison. That's fiction, Mrs. Sato. Let's hope it stays that way. Yeah, pretty much. We already got that. Mayhaps. Doesn't look like anything's really changed, to be honest. Which is to be expected, you know? Are you looking for new clues, Inspector? Lord Van Ziek's orders, yeah? Don't come back till you got something for me, he says. Oh dear, who are you? Yeah, poor me. Because we already searched every bleeding nook and cranny in this place. Don't know what he expects, to be honest. Thank goodness for more chips. That's all I could say. Well, at least he's honest. What about you, Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there? What a question indeed! Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene? What? What are you doing here, Sholmes? What are you, up to over there? What are you doing here? Dear me, once a great detective, one is always under scrutiny, it seems. It is now the time, Mr. Sholmes. Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action as you promised? With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madame. What's all this? All this is precisely what you requested, Mr. Naruto. Sherlock Sholmes' sensational skin print seeker gun. Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim. A sample? From Mr. Shamspeare's cup? Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches. A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this refined indicator solution. By liberally spraying the room with this chemical, everything that the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Here, try them on. There. Now spray the chemical indicator about, and all will be revealed. Spray? How? How do I do that exactly? A little press of that on the area you're interested in is all that requires, like this. Ah, what is that stuff? It's like fog. A suspension of chemical indicator in a pressurized gas. The most effective way to cover a large area. That was another invention I discovered incidentally whilst I was developing this idea. As you know. Go ahead, try it, my dear fellow. We may learn something interesting about the victim's motives on the night in question. Well, there's nothing to lose, I suppose. Let's explore. Okay. Oh, there's a lot over here. There's some over here? Maybe. So you put some there. Look, there are dozens of handprints here. So there are, a great many indeed. So much so that it's hard to make out any one individual print, in fact. Sends a chill down my spine. Perhaps he was leaning against the wall while he admired this picture? I can think of a lot of reasons why someone would be holding onto a wall. None of them include admiring the picture. Although you could do that at the same time. Yeah. Unlikely, I would say. It's a rather dull scene after all. And about, wishing to state the obvious, you wouldn't generally admire a picture from such close quarters, I feel. Oh, very true, Mrs. Otto. Bit of a mystery, then. Okay. No? Why is it on the box here? No, just a little bit? Okay. No. Where else could something be? Do I need more to look at? Quite a few, or it's like hand printed. We'll just spray it all there. See if we find something. I doubt it. I doubt we could find anything else, but you never know. Ace Attorney tends to do that where, like, they'll stop you after you're done. Especially with this kind of stuff. Like, you spraying things all over the place. What about the ceiling? I think we're still supposed to get one more thing, but I don't know where that would be. Look around and then spray. Where else would you want me to look? Oh, look, at all this here. Oh, yes, interesting. A matter to the victim's, handprints. Why are there so many of them on the floor on this one spot? Oh, perhaps he had a bad fall just here. There's nothing obvious that he would have tripped over, though. Is there? I wonder. Personally, I often stumble when there's nothing obvious to trip over. I think that's something only a great detective would do. Mr. Sholmes. Well, this is quite a puzzle. Handprints all over the floor. Yes, there's no obvious explanation. Well, we sprayed Mr. Sholmes' amazing skin print indicator all over this room, didn't we? We did, but there are two places in particular that are of interest, I would say. The handprints on the floor there. And on the wall by the picture, you mean? Yes, and I think the floor warrants closer investigation. I won't be a moment. Ah! What is it, Mr. Sato? Look here, Mr. Naruto. One of the floorboards has popped out. One of the... You mean... It's a secret hiding place? Excellent work, Mr. Sato. So, what do we have in here? What are you doing? Inspector Grayson! Stand aside, right this minute. While I try to investigate that. No need, Inspector. You continue to dig into your portion of chips, whilst we dig around under the floor here. Your fancy talks are putting me off. The fancy talks putting me off my food. Anyway, Sholmes. A new bit of evidence is exactly what I need. Wow, secret hiding place under the floor. What a find! It's not a hiding place you could use in Japan. I don't think I could lift a straw mat. No, I know. I never expected one of those wooden floorboards to move either. It got me wondering about the wall over there, too. Aren't you curious? Oh! I'll investigate at once! She looks so cute doing that! There's nothing behind the picture, sadly. Only the wall. How disappointing. But then, how do you explain the handprints? I really can't think why anyone would have been touching the wall over and over in one place like that. There you are! A print for you! The photograph of the handprints on the wall has been entered into the court record. Okay. Oh, thank you very much! His invention can make prints too? Now then, I wonder if Inspector Grayson has found anything under the floor there. I'm desperate to know. So am I! Okay. Examine over here. Nothing. I want to know if there's anything hidden underneath the floorboard there. Allow me to ask Grayson now. After all, we're well acquainted. Inspector Grayson! Really, it's been too long. What is it, Sholmes? Thought perhaps you might show me what you found there, seeing as we're such good friends. We're not friends. No, I suppose not. You got rejected. Dismail failure. Yes, I heard. Ugh. I can't know what was under the floorboard. Alright then. Fast fair. What? You did discover the hidden place after all. Suppose I should at least fill you in. Really, Inspector? Thank you. Do it quickly, my dear fellow. If there's one thing I know about this man, it's that he blows with the wind, as fickle as the weather. Oh, stop making me out to be some kind of nut. 3 items under the floor there. Newspaper clipping, photographic print, and box. Now, what do you want to know? 10 bucks, 2,000. Now this tin box looks interesting, doesn't it? Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open it? If you were to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case, I wouldn't be in the least surprised. Yeah, funnily enough, I've already had a look. Completely empty. What? You Shamspear! Give us a clue, man! You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruto. But anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box. Yes, thin air. It's empty. Rather like how I felt inside. Is there nothing more to the box then? Wonder. Okay. Then what about the newspaper clipping? Looks like this was cut out of the paper about 3 months ago. It's about a convict who got sick and died while he was serving time up in Manchester. How terrible. It made the headlines down here in London as well. The bloke had been sentenced to death, you see, and nature got to him. Oh my goodness! He committed a capital offense? Man by the name of Sheldon. A nasty piece of work. Into burglaries and murder. They said the hoard he knocked off was worth about 1,000 pounds. A hoard? Of treasure, you mean? Or in the like, he'd hid it somewhere and no one knows where. Now he's dead. Papers loved it, of course. 1,000 pounds lost en route to hail. Some such was the headline. Does it not strike you that why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor? Absconded. Oh, that's what it was. I knew that word. I just didn't remember how it was pronounced. I suppose now you mention it, it does seem a bit odd. Perhaps I'll go over the paperwork we got on Sheldon back at the yard. See if I can turn anything up. Okay. That's something. Photographic print. This is the photographic I found. Looks reasonably recent to me. Well. Oh, wait, isn't that her lover and the man? Why is that? Yes, it would appear to have been taken on the street in front of the house here. The gentleman on the left is Mr. Garberdon. The landlord, of course. But who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garberdon's son, perhaps? Perhaps. You could take the print if you like. Really? Are you sure? We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows. By today, the young fellow, that is. Ah, is that true? Well, it's too bad if we do. Fortunately for you lot, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes. My dear Inspector, I may be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure, but this is for work. All the more reason I'm not telling you. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. Man, he probably misses his old boyfriend that actually like gave him like good news and shit over this donkey dunk. Wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. I mean, Mr. Shamser himself isn't in it. Photographic prints are still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garberdon was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud president of it. Meow! Kitty! Meow, 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 meow. Oh, look! It's that lovely little kitty I got. What was its name? It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I didn't think we ever asked him, actually. Why don't we call it, Wakahai? You know, like Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese. Wonder how he got in here. Clever cat. Oh, wonderful. Well then, Wakahai, here's something delicious I brought for you from the cat's meat man. Oh, look at it. Meow, 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 meow. Boy's sleeping. He couldn't be happier now, look. Just hope we could bring some happiness to his owner, too. Yeah, mayhaps. Look at the little monster! He's eating his paws! That's so cute! Wow! 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 That was a cheeky little meow, Wakahai. Oh, but he's so adorable! I could sit and watch him forever. I think he may not appreciate that after a while. But we have an investigation to get back to. True that, but I think we're done here. What other stuff do we have? The moving. So let's move to... Yeah, we'll go to Briar Road. Oh, we'll go to Garbiter's room. Go quick first. It shouldn't be too long. 22nd February. Mr. and Mrs. Garbiton's room. Mr. Garbiton appears to be out. Oh well. Guess we'll just have to come back again later. Okay, but I want to see if I can find anything. Hello? Ooh. Probably shouldn't poke around here whilst Mr. Garbiton is out. Oh, okay. So then everything is just like, no. Alright, let's check out one more spot then. Did we get anything there? Briar Road, baby. The 22nd February. Briar Road. What do we have here? Oh, good. I don't think there's any other clues here. This ain't Professor Layton, so we don't get, like, extra things. Did not mean to touch that. Did not mean to do anything. Stop! 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 Yes, yes, yes. All this and that. Yeah, I guess that's it. So, what if we move? How many other places do we have here? Got, just prison. If it's just prison, we might as well just go visit that spot, right? You know? The 22nd February. Local prison. Cell 9. Oh, Mr. Natsume is back. So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello. I am a cat. Sorry? I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or Herlock Sholmes. I don't know about courts or trials or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat. Mr. Naruto, he's trying to escape from reality. Trying to? He has. Completely. So, what is your name then? As yet, I have no name. Mr. Naruto hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality. You think you could open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume? I am not a cat. It worked! He's back in the real world! What's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that, it's obvious. My accursed soul is never going to escape this accursed fate! Mr. Natsume, no! This morning's proceedings and court prove that there's hope. Yes, yes. Locomotive student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire was brilliant, but... The Reaper is omnipresent! In court, in my lodgings, here, there, everywhere! What's he looking straight at me for? I think perhaps there are some things we should discuss. Oh, yes. Yes, we must. Okay. Adversity. This morning's trial. In my whole life, have I ever been so moved as I was today? No! Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two other occasions that moved me more. But if I just block those out, then the day being that courtroom was... It was the most moving experience of my life! Locomotive student Mr. Naruto Esquire! You're too kind. It's Scotland Yard found the remaining tea. Just asked me to do. We're analyzing as we speak. There's nothing more than with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's it. Solemn, Swan, Suzuki, certainty. Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night? Oh yes, most definitely. Remember, tea drinking while it's hot. We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies. At the time, you were both completely fine. Shown by the fact he and Mr. Shakespeare then engaged in a Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus on tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim then. That rotten Shakespeare! What have I ever done to him? You don't recall him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently? I've been holed up in my room, immersed in books. I don't recall anything at all! Right. But what I don't understand is why he didn't let me know sooner. But you know what, Mr. Natsume? About the soap, of course! What else? Oh dear. Are you struggling with such a, emergent stipend? Of course I am, if I had money. I wouldn't have chosen to live in a cursed existence in such a cursed lodgings. Oh yes, you said it's because the place is cursed. And it's so cheap, didn't you? Exactly! Especially the room I rent. The sprint of the capital offender who lived there still owns the place, and it's trying to kill me! Capital offender? Might I ask, locum student, Mr. Naruto, Esquire, the next time you visit me, you bring scores of super soft soaps? So he's just right about to get this, huh? Alright then. What do you know about not the crime scene photo, not the medical report, but this? Present. What's this? It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shakespeare's room. Ah, so he knew, did he? Sorry? About this man, Zaldine. A convicted killer, and the evil spirit beyond, and the curse that afflicts my lodgings. What? You've taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another? He's already affected one man's life. He's trying to take the life of another. A miserable mustache, a much mangled Japanese man. Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. Capital offender. The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. The Salted Man was arrested about a year ago now. And at the time, he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garbadin's house. What? He lived? Where you do now? That's right, yes. Exactly where I live now. In my very room. Oh my. Your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense? Before the sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago. And that's when it started. The curse! What really is that curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume? It's already caused one death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison. A man died in the room. The man who rented it after assaulted him, in fact. The poor lodger, he was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked from the inside. Locked from the inside? Exactly like the case we're dealing with now. That's the Convicted's curse, is it? Yes, well, that was the start of it. The Convict's curse. Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume? The official cause of death was asphyxiation. When he discovered the body, the room was full of gas. Oh? Oh? Gas? I only found out that after I signed the lease. When Mr. Garberton came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I'd known beforehand, I probably would have been too scared to take the room. Landlord's lease, luckily illegal! For Garberton, maybe. But not so much for luck for poor Natsume. Now you believe this curse is afflicting you? It is. At first, I just felt as though I was being watched all the time. And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you? The dead are trying to take me with them. They come for me and try to suffocate me. When I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up, and the room is as cold as ice. But why is your room so cold? London winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas. But that's terrible! It's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamspeare last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. Really more to that incident that can be explained, than can be explained by the curse, though. Whatever can be the cause of these strange happenings in Mr. Garberton's room? I don't know. Maybe we could talk to Mr. Garberton then?